Hi everybody, I hope everybody's having a good day. I'm doing a reading on the Beatles, mainly Paul McCartney, because his birthday was a couple weeks ago, and I'm a big Paul McCartney fan. Like I say, I'm not responsible for anybody getting hurt. It's my opinion. So I'm doing a tarot card reading on Paul McCartney and his life and his career, and him being in Wings, and also the Beatles, and his thoughts. So Paul, you tell me what you think about your life and his love, the girlfriends he had, his wives. He was married 3 times. Let me look it up real quick. Paul McCartney. Alright, he was born June 18, 1942, age 82, in Liverpool, England. He was married 3 times. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, and he has a couple more grandchildren. So yeah. So he's a Gemini, and I'm gonna shuffle some cards, and we'll find out about Paul. I think he was my favorite Beatle in his relationships. You know, one of my favorite songs is "I Love You," and another one I love is "Let In, Let Die." Yeah, "Live and Let Die." Yep, I'm a big Paul McCartney fan. I like Ringo too. Okay, here we go. Here we go, Paul. We're doing the past, the present, and the future spread. These are 3 cards. Don't mind, my husband's vacuuming. He does that on Sundays, so 1 day a week. Right, here we go. Paul McCartney. Sir Paul McCartney. Alright, his past. Wow, whoops. Excuse me. His past was unfolding access to greater opportunities. Yeah, when he was a kid, he wanted to be greater, you know. He wanted to do great things. He played music when he was young, when he was a teenager, up in Liverpool. Before the Beatles became famous, he liked to play music, and he wanted to learn different instruments, and he wanted to finish school, so he finished school. He was an okay student. Alright, he liked to seek out adventures and do different things, obviously, in the past, because he met the Beatles and they traveled. They came to America in 1964, so he looked for adventure, and he wanted to try and do new things, you know, when he did join the Beatles. And he did balance. This is the 2 cups. He got along pretty much with the Beatles, and he met Linda McCartney in the 60s, and they got together, and she was a photograph person, and she took pictures of the Beatles, and she was into photography, and she belonged to a famous I forget what magazine she did, but she did a magazine, and that's how they met and got together. So they were attracted. They said at first he was unfilled. He wasn't sure if he was going to be with her, because she had a child from a previous marriage. So he wasn't so sure if this relationship was going to do the distance, because she had a child with someone else. Like, she was a single parent. She was divorced. So he wasn't so sure. So this was the present day. They will resolve your current situation work-wise. you will find unique ways to stand out. So he liked to stand out from being the Beatles. He joined Wings. In the present, he likes to play. I don't think he's still in Wings. Maybe he is. And he likes to be secure in his job playing music. He still plays music, still into his 80s, which is really great. And he wants to work out his problems with people. And passion. He with his last wife, he is very passionate person. He keeps a flame of passion with his third wife, who's around the same age, a little younger than him, but he still is very passionate, and they love each other, and they've been married for a while. And the reverse, there's recovery. He had to recover some obstacles in his life. He's probably from the present, maybe, with COVID that happened in the present. Maybe he had to recover from illness. Maybe he had COVID and he's trying to recover. He had somebody or someone in his family might have had COVID and is recovering from, and he has to forgive someone. Maybe he had an outing. I know in the past he had a fight with John. So unless he had to build someone new. He had some enemies. Maybe the paparazzi have given him hard times in the present. He doesn't, with the paparazzi, maybe he wants them to leave him alone in the present and just want to, retire. Even though he does work, to open. Maybe he's going to do some more. Maybe he's going to do more music and more albums. But he also doesn't want people to bug him all the time. Even though he's a very nice person, but he doesn't like the paparazzi spreading lies and stuff. So he does have a few enemies, but not too many. All right, the renewal, this is the future, Paul. You need to take time to recharge your energy. God, we got this again. He needs to take time to recover, take care of himself because he's getting up there in age. He's 82. He and Ringo, the last two of the Beatles, he has to recover and take a break. He needs to rest, and chill. That's basically what it says. Renew, take challenges, faith, and breakthrough. So he just needs to rest and take it easy. Oh, you need to rest, Paul. Maybe you need to rest. He's a big worker, but he needs to rest. Keep the sparks flying, surprise each other with love. So come on, Paul. Paul and his wife, he likes to keep sparks flying in his relationships. He doesn't like a dull moment in his relationship. That's great, Paul. I'm happy for you. See, the sparks, at the 4th of July, or the sparks, someone's spinning sparks. I love this card. All right, and this one is release, optimism, forgiveness. So he has some pain in the future. He's going to have some pain, maybe health-wise in the reverse. And he's going to try to be optimism for the last life he has in the future of his life, the few years he has whenever on this earth, someday he's going to pass. So he's going to try to release the pain of, maybe he's had health issues in the future, and he's going to try to be positive about his health, even though he's going to be released from some pain and some forgiveness, and he's going to try to be optimism about how much time he has on this earth left. So this is so far this has been a pretty good reading for Paul. Good job, Paul. You've had a good reading so far, Paul. Sir Paul McCartney. All right, I'm going to ask about his relationship with the Beatles, especially John, because I know they had a good relationship in the beginning of the Beatles, but then it started going sour when and then I'll ask if we have time, was it because of Uno Ukum, or was it just John not wanting to be in the band anymore, and everybody got sick and tired of each other and getting on everybody's last nerve? Was that it? Is that the way it happened? Like, everybody got on each other's nerves, and people had egos saying, oh, I want this, I want that. Or was Uko Unum, I'm probably screwing up a name, or was she part of the problem instead of the solution? She gave problems to Paul and the Beatles. Like, was she like very narcissistic and thinks she's above everybody, and says, and trying to tell John, you know, and John wasn't a strong person. Sometime I'm going to do a reading on John Lennon and his life, and then I'll do one of his marriage with Yoko Ono. But today it's Paul's turn. So how is Paul's relationship with the people in the Beatles, especially John's? All right, 2. I'll do 3. All right, how is his relationship during the Beatles and toward the end? It says, was it good? It was in the end, it wasn't so good. No, it wasn't in the end, it was not getting good. It was headed, the high priestess, upright tradition. In the beginning, I guess they had some tradition to work together, and they had the same religious beliefs. In the beginning of the, I feel like they were working for the same goal. The Beatles were working for the John and Paul and all of them, Ringo and George were all working for the same good, and they went, and society and its rules. They had their own thing, but they tried to forgive when they had the fights. They tried to forgive when they had fights in the beginning. You know, with the Beatles, it says forgiveness. Bond. They were like brothers. All of them are like brothers. They a bunch of them grew up together. I think John and George, or one of them grew up together. I think it was John and George grew up together, or one of them, and then they got to get together, and they were like family, like brothers. That's basically what they said. All right, so emotional. Things got emotional toward the end. You know, reverse. This is with the Page of Cups in reverse, the Child card, emotional, immature. They were becoming very immature. They were acting like children. They fought. They were acting like children. They had egos. They were being kind of stuck up. They were becoming stuck up. You know, they fought a lot. I feel like they had egos, you know. They were becoming like they were immature, and they had new ideas of how the band should be, and they were fighting over that, and they had creative blocks. They were like John wanted it to go one way, but Paul wanted it the other way, and they couldn't seem like they could. It wasn't working out, and Ringo and George were stuck in the middle of the two more dominant ones. So, all right, and the last one, upright, was wealth and business and leadership. Like I said, the two most powerful ones were John and Paul, and they wanted to be the leaders of the band toward the end, but they couldn't do that. You can't have, and they wanted to take over and say, oh, I want to be the one in charge, you know, and the business and the security and absent. You know, John was late some of the time, and he would be absent. You know, they would come, some of them would come in late toward the end and say, oh, I'm tired, I don't want to do this. And that kind of upset the other Beatles, saying, hey, you can't be late and be absent. You know, this is our career here. And he seemed to not really care. Like John said, I don't care. You can all F off if you don't like the way things are going. So things were, you know, he was absent. And they cared about the money, but they had so much money by the end of the Beatles, they really didn't need it. So it was a money struggle. I feel like John and Paul were the ones that had the most issues. Now I'm gonna see. Did they think? I'm gonna do one more quick thing. Was Paul pissed off at Yoko Ono when the Beatles broke up, and he still is pissed off with her after John's death, or did they ever talk, or is it like, no, I don't want anything to do? Does Paul have anything more to do with John's widow Okuno, or did he just say enough? Once the Beatles broke up, he doesn't have much contact with her. Let's find out. Come on, Paul, let me know. Do you have any contact with her, Okuno? Or are you just pissed off and don't want anything to with her? Do you have any hidden anger toward her if you think it's the breakup of the relationship? Please let me know. Okay, Paul, let me know. All right, let's see what Paul says about Okuno. The Sun. He thinks she had some positive ideas when John was alive. So he thinks some positive pleasure and happiness and fun, joy, warmth, celebrity. So he has some good qualities he thinks of her. So he in this card, he doesn't seem so angry at her right now, the Sun. So he thought she brought some good ideas into the Beatles with John. And when the Beatles broke up, she thought I don't think he hold any grudges against John having his own, because he had wings and then John had. I don't think John was as popular as as Paul. So he was happy that he was getting his dues and getting positive. He was happy for John that he was do it. So he in this one he wasn't too mad at her. All right, reverse, self-love, determining, value, suffering, detached. He does feel like he does sort of blame her. This is a Lovers in Reverse. He does feel like Paul does feel like John was detached from the Beatles, and he does have some hidden upsetness with her, but he doesn't want the public to know, like he wants to hide it from them. So yeah, he has some conflict with her in some ways, but he doesn't want to bring out the past. He has it deep inside him that he does hold some resentment toward her and how the band broke up, and she's not his favorite person, but he did think she was a good worker, but not as a person. Like he doesn't call her to say, oh, do you want a spot of tea, or you want to come and hang out? No. She was there for John, and that's basically their relationship was, and maybe say hello when John passed away and was at the funeral and stuff in the wake. Maybe Paul was there for her for that, but that's about it. Yeah, no, they suffering, detachment, bad choices. He thought she made some bad choices trying to control John and stuff. He did not like her very much. No, I think he secretly despises Yoko Ono. I'm not surprised on that. Okay, and the last one was transformation, fear of change. Yeah, he wanted the best for John, and he feared change, and delayed relationship, and they had spawned. I think when the band was together, he had some, like I said in this one, he was pissed off with her. I think he still has, like I keep on saying, he still has hidden, this is the Tower in Reverse, he still has he's still angry with Yoko Ono. I still think he's upset, fear of change. He doesn't want to change and say, I'm still pissed with you. I'm not going to change my mind. I'm going to be mad at you, Oko. I'm not going to try to be your friend. You're fake. You're phony. He despises her, basically. Yeah, and he doesn't want, and it's a disaster. The relationship turned out to be a disaster after the breakup. He says, oh, it's okay, the relationship, him and Oko and John, but it was a disaster. And at least he got to say goodbye to John, but he does not like Yoko Ono. No, he does not like her. He's pissed at her. This is what it says. He does not like Yoko Ono. Paul. He despises her. I don't blame. They were like best friends, and yeah, they basically, what I see in the cards is Paul does not like Yoko Ono. He despises her. He like I said, he lived with her when they were around during the Beatles because she was John's significant other, but he tolerated it. He didn't want to have huge blowouts with John because that would blow up. The Beatles would have ended before then because they all probably despised her, even though they said they're not. They didn't. You know, he constantly says in interviews, "Oh, I don't hold it against her." But I think, yeah, and secretly he does despise Yoko Ono. So, yep. So this is my reading for Paul McCartney. He's a great musician. I think he's great. He had a pretty good relationship with John until the end, and I think they fixed it up. And he got along with pretty much everybody until Yoko came in the picture. Till my next video, take care and have a good day. Bye.